episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And let's get right into it this time. So today we're going to talk about AI and robots. Big news out of Uber and a bunch of other companies that we've talked about before. So Uber is going to start delivering food with robots. So Uber has really changed as a company from when it first started. It was a pure ride-hailing business, sort of like taxis. And since then, and especially due to the pandemic, they got into food delivery. And food delivery is now half of their revenue, along with ride-hailing being the other half. So half their revenue. But the thing is that they make more profit from ride-hailing than they do from food, because food has higher cost on those deliveries. Thus the robots. So they're rolling out two different kinds of robots in a test. The first is a sidewalk robot that will pull up on the sidewalk and signal you to come out and get your food. And that is happening in West Hollywood, California. And then in Santa Monica, California, they're doing a fully autonomous vehicle delivery. Now, there's still a driver in the car, just in case, but the car is a fully autonomous vehicle. And speaking of that fully autonomous vehicle is built by Hyundai, and the AI self-driving system is by Motional. We've talked about both of those guys because Hyundai and Motional got a huge order from someone like the U.S. Postal Service or Amazon or something for just a massive number of vehicles. And now they're going to start supplying these vehicles to Uber. And we know that regulatory-wise, they are not allowing full autonomy in most places yet. The only full autonomy rides happening right now are in Phoenix with Waymo, and I think they're running in Pittsburgh also, but fully autonomous vehicles with no driver in them here in the U.S. is still very limited. So this is a big change for Uber, and of course this is just a pilot, but the thing about AI is it learns very quickly, doesn't it? So there's more, much more about robots making deliveries. And the next one is, there's been a lot of talk about, particularly by Jeff Bezos, all the way back in 2013, saying that within 3 or 4 years, Amazon would be delivering packages by drone, fully autonomous drone. There's a problem with that. And the problem is that when he said that, he forgot about the need for getting drones integrated into the national airspace. And in the meantime, something else huge has happened, and that's UAVs. And we've talked about those several times. Urban air mobility vehicles. And those are going to have pilots initially, but will start going fully autonomous pretty quickly after that. And we talked about a company in Florida that is doing UAVs between 4 major cities. They added a 5th in Florida. But Amazon is going to try the drones again. They tried it once, a very little bit in 2016, and here we are 6 years later, and they're about to try it on a very limited basis again. Now, let's talk about regulation. If you think about it, in the air, you've got drones at a lower level, right? But then you've got planes landing and taking off, both commercial planes and private planes. And now, very, very soon, you're going to start to have these UAVs, urban vehicles. So you've got 4 levels of air traffic coming up. And that has to be managed very, very carefully, particularly in and around airports, or UAVs are going to have landing pads all over the place, tops of buildings, probably at airports for short jumps, but on the periphery of cities. And I think a huge market for UAVs is short hops to small cities that are too small for air traffic, but there's 3 or 4 or 5 people, maybe 6 every single day that want to go somewhere by air, even in a small city. So AI and delivery is going to change quite a bit. And they will get the regulations worked out. The FAA has been working on this for at least 5 years, maybe 6 now. So it won't be that long before they issue final regulations on that. And then that will open up the skies, so to speak. So that's huge news right there. Then continuing this, we've talked before about a robotic delivery company called Starship. That is a sidewalk robot company. It's making 10,000 deliveries a day now in 40 locations worldwide, including 25 college campuses. And that's what we talked about was at George Mason University. They have 60 robots delivering 700 to 1,000 meals a day at George Mason University. And the cost is only $2.50 a delivery, so that's dirt cheap, and the reviews are over 95% positive. So you can see that very, very quickly, these local robot delivery vehicles, which are last mile delivery, will start to disrupt human-based last mile delivery. That's why you need to click the link below. Get the free AI resource. The resource is free. Everything in the resource is free. You will learn much more about AI if you do get the resource. What will you learn? Well, you'll learn much more than we can do in these videos about the history of AI, what it's being used for now, and what is coming. And another way to do that is my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI. Check that out. Same information, more or less. But the news is, which I've said on several videos lately, within 3 years, by 2025, most people are going to have to know how to interact with AI at work. That does not mean you're going to have to know how to program. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that your job will involve using AI to do your job in some way. So that's more like regular using it as opposed to programming. It's no different than Windows, for example. More stuff on robots and deliveries. Google's parent Alphabet has a drone delivery company, Wing. They are just starting to kick that off. They've already made 53,000 commercial deliveries. These are business deliveries so far this year, which is up over 300%. This is the way of the future, right? Drones delivering packages last mile. It's going to be noisy, by the way. And then the article, this is a CNN article. I'll post the link. The article finally goes on to say, a lot of these businesses are not profitable yet, but these are businesses of scale. And so the more and more activity they get in more locations, they are all expected, for the most part, to reach profitability, given that they're well run. The co-founder of an autonomous robot startup called Neuro, which is testing delivery for Kroger, a huge grocery store chain, and 7-Eleven. Everyone in the U.S. knows what 7-Eleven is. But the guy said he believes that this kind of robot delivery is $1 trillion, with a T, $1 trillion business opportunity in revenue. Think about that, $1 trillion revenue business. We talked about that on one of the lives within maybe a month ago, that there's only 2 or 3 existing $1 trillion businesses in the United States today. And this is set to be the next one. So this is huge news. A lot is going to change. On the regulatory front, the U.S. regulators have been working on this for a while. Other countries are well ahead. Australia is way ahead of the U.S. in regulations, and that is why many of these companies have been testing all of these things in Australia for a while. In multiple videos, I said Domino's has been delivering pizza robotically down in Australia, and Wing, I think, has been delivering down there, but certainly Uber has tried down there too. So other countries with different regulations are ahead. China is most likely going to leapfrog the U.S. if they aren't already ahead, because their regulations will be designed to promote this. But, everything's different in China, so it's easier for them to do this kind of stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in. Click the link below, get your free AI resource. Please like, subscribe, share. Also, check out my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI. And thanks so much. We'll see you live on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern.